Okay, hello guys, how are you? So I'll be sharing to you on how to work with operation and series. And in order for us to understand this well, no, it is, I think, best to recall, no, what is an algebraic expression. So here we define algebraic expression is used to mean a constant, a variable or a combination of variables and constant involving a finite number of indicated operations on them. The operations can be addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, raising to power, and the extraction of lots. So here are examples of different expressions. So I have a pure constant here. So this is an expression. Constant, a combination of constant and variable. This is operated under multiplication. Then this one, we have actually another expression. But if ganina, we have an expression involving only of a single term, kine, this is composed of two terms. So, a term is actually can be identified when there is a sign in between, either positive or a negative sign in between terms. No? So, this is a term and this is another term that follows. No? Now, another term is this one. But since the operation there is only multiplication, raising to power, so this means this is only a single term. The next line will show an algebraic expression that is composed of how many terms? This is preceded with plus. Then another negative. So, one term, another term, then another term. Operation involving constant and variable, where variable is raised to a power. Constant and variable, where there is an extraction of roots. And then, there is a pure constant term too. Then, we have another expression. If you will be asked how many terms are here, actually, there's only one term. No, because division is an operation in a term, no? So entirely this is a single term. However, your numerator and denominator is composed of several terms. This is composed of three terms and this is composed of two terms. But entirely, this is just a single term. Why? Because this is operated under division. Then same with the last, no? This is a single term. This is a division, no? But your numerator is composed of two terms, no? Denominator is composed of another two terms. So this is a term where there is an expression that is raised to power 3. This is a cube root of y, no? So there is an extraction of roots. So if again we have to define the word term, what is a term? So a term is a constant, a variable or a combination of constant and variable. So an expression, in an expression, a term can easily be identified because it is preceded with plus or minus sign. Plus, minus sign. So that precedes a term. So this is two terms. No? So we have two terms separated with plus sign. Okay? So imong ilanan that there's a term to follow if there is a positive or negative sign that precedes the term. Now, what are the operations in a term to recall? So, the operations in a term can be, okay, so here is the operation. Raising to power and extraction of roots. Then, there is also multiplication and division. Now, how to perform this operation if they are found within a term? Okay? So, first, you have to apply raising to power and extraction of roots if they are found in a term. So, try to check first whether there is raising to power and extraction of roots. And after you perform them, that's the time you can proceed with multiplication and division. You can multiply or divide according to their occurrences from left going right of a term. Now, if there is a grouping, no, in cases of grouping, the operation are usually contained within the group. Now, here is a specific example. So we have operations involving constants. Okay. So they are operated in series of operations. Okay. So we have minus 3 times minus 8 squared divided by the square root of 36 times 6. Then plus 4 cubed divided by, so another expression, so minus 2 to the 4th power times 5. Okay. Now if you will be asked, how many terms are there in the given? And what would be the value of the expression? Okay, now, if you have to recall what a term is an expression that is preceded with plus or minus sign. I have a negative, no? That means there is a term to follow. So, if the operation is multiplication and division, it means that you are still within a term. Okay, from left going right, the operation is multiplication. Okay, are you following? 3 times. So, I'm still within the first term. Okay, so 3 times the square of the negative 8. Okay, then divided by the square root of 36. Then it's multiplied with 6. Okay, so that means because the next sign is plus, so meaning my first term actually is terminated up to this one expression. So this is your first term, then another term to follow, 4 cubed divided by, so there is another term to follow. If the operation is division, multiplication, so meaning that belongs to another term. So if you will be asked, how many terms are there? There are actually how many? There are 2 terms. So kine, then preceded with plus is another term. So there are actually 2 terms in the given. Now, why is it important to determine the number of terms? It is because the operation will be first contained within a term. Okay? So, ang ato operation will be contained in the term and the operations are actually kini. Okay? I put a line under the terms, no? Because the operation will be first contained within the underlined expressions. Okay? So, if there is raising to power, so I have to get the value of the expression first. So, raising to power and extraction of roots will be performed first. Okay, following this step 1, na? Okay, so raising to power, okay, second line, I have to give the value of the expression that is raised to power and expression that is having an extraction of roots. So, minus 8 squared. So, minus 8 times a negative 8 because the exponent there 2 is placed outside. So, meaning it is the negative. The negative is actually part of the raising to power. So, minus 8 times minus 8. So, I have 64. What is the square root of 36? Because 36 is taken from 6 squared. So, if I'm going to take the square root of 6 squared, then that will give you 6 as the value. Okay? Then you multiply by 6. Then I can go to the second term because there is a raising to power. I have 4 cubed. So 4 times 4 times another 4, I have 64. There is minus 2 to the 4th power. Now, take note of this. Now, this is different with minus 8 squared because here, we are including the negative in the raising to power. While there, it is 2 that can be raised to power 4 only. And whatever result you have here, no, the result is actually taken as negative. So 2 to the 4th power is 16. So it is actually negative 16 on this case. Now, after completing the operation of raising to power and extraction of roots, that's the time you can apply the multiplication and division. Whichever will comes first will be the first one to be performed. So multiply or divide or multiply according to the occurrences from left going right of the term. Okay, pananglit this one. If I have 3 times 64, so I must get with the product of these 2 first, no? Before I can divide. Then I can further multiply. Okay, to show. So 6 times 64 is 192. Okay, so it is a negative because of this, no? Okay, so pagkahuman, you can divide with 6. The result is multiplied also by 6. So I can have the quotient for this. Okay? While kine, I can also take the division first because 64 is divided by 16. It is division that comes first, no? There it is multiplication, okay? So 64 divided by minus 16, the result is negative 4. Then I'm now ready to multiply with another factor, 5. Now what is 192 divided by 6? Okay, so I can take the quotient of this, no? So I have negative 32 or 32. Okay, then multiplied with 6, no? How about the product between the two? I can also multiply this, no? So I have minus 20 being unlike sign for the factors. Then this one I can further multiply. 32 times 6, okay? So that gives you the value of the term, 192. Then I also have, this is plus but this is a negative expression. So if I'm going to remove the parentheses, this is preceded with plus, then I can take the term as it is. So I can take the negative 20 being my second term. So after you multiply or divide, no, then that's the time you are now ready to add or subtract, no, the value of the term. That is why if you can recall, maybe you are familiar with the term index, no? So which means you have to multiply or divide because they are the operations within a term according to their occurrences from left or right. So multiplication and division can be interchanged. No? Okay, then you can multiply or divide now from left to right. Then that's the time when you are done, you are now ready to add or subtract the value of the terms for them to combine so you can have their sum. Okay, so that is how to get the value of the expression. So simply follow this one, no? So it is, you have to start with raising to power and extraction of roots, no? And if you are done with this, then that's the time you can multiply or divide, starting from left to right. Then you can multiply or divide or multiply according to their occurrences. So, and some days ago, no, I think you are puzzled with this, no, and many of us, no, are actually sharing this kind of problem, no. So, a very simple mathematical operations that created some confusions. Okay, let us observe this. If there is 8 divided by 2 and multiplied by the quantity 2 plus 2. So, knowing the previous operations, so I think this is no longer challenging with us, no? So, first is to apply. This is only an operation of multiplication and division. So, you can divide first before you multiply. So, dividing it by 2. Okay? And their sum, since the operation may be contained within the grouping, so their sum is equal to 4. 8 divided by 2 is also equal to 4. Okay? So, 8 divided by 2 first. Okay? So, I have 4 and the result will be multiplied by 4. So, the answer di has no doubt that it is really equal to 16. Okay? The answer must be 16. Now, the good thing here is that all operations we've made, no, are actually dealing with constant values. And if we are dealing with constant, the use of calculator is very possible. No? But be careful in using your calculator. Since the given involves constant operation, the answer can easily be obtained by calculator. But there's a term easy to obtain. But is it really easy to obtain, or you will also end up with confusions? Now, question. In using a calculator, now, so one must observe that all operations will be defined clearly. So if you say there is multiplication, put operation of multiplication. If there is division, then you put operation of division, or whatever operation that your series may contain. Okay, so like this. I'm using a calculator to perform. Okay? I try to input the expression in the display of my calculator. There you see 8 divided by 2, exactly the same as this. Okay? Okay, so that is the given. Then when you press equals, you will be given the value. The value is 1. So, that's the time, no? This will create confusion. But actually, in some calculator, it will also give you 16. Some will give you 1. No? So, that's the time confusion will actually be taking place. No? Now, if you observe ganina, there is a quotient wherein the operations must be done clearly. Some calculator will give you 16 also. No? So, now, this will show that your calculator cannot follow your command exactly if the operation is not clearly defined. Okay, try to observe. I have the expression as given. I copied it. No? I put that in the display. But when I press equals, my calculator introduces a grouping symbol here, which is not actually part here. But when I press equals, no, the calculator automatically, this calculator, because not all calculator will do similar procedure as this, no, or similar manner as this, no. As I've said, there are calculators which will give 16, so some will give 1. Okay, so if you notice, there is a grouping symbol that is being introduced automatically. I did not put this, no. So if this is the answer 1, this is actually true if it is exactly the same as this, or say there is a grouping symbol before, because this means the operation will be contained within the grouping symbol. But that is not the case in our given. Okay, that is why this answer is wrong, because this is not the given we have. Okay, now how to go through with an answer which is correct? Now, so in order that your calculator can exactly follow the command, if you have 8 divided by 2 and you say this is multiplication, so introduce the operation of multiplication in between. And this is what I'm going to do in my second calculation. 8 divided by 2, then I introduced an operation of multiplication. 2 times then the quantity. So with that, if I'm going to press equals, then that's the time my calculator gives me a value which is 16. So try to have this be followed if you are using a calculator, but I think it's not also good to use a calculator when you are only dealing with simple mathematical operations. No? So, murag insulto sa ato that we are only calculating with a very small value, like for example, 2 plus 3 and you have to get a calculator. So, I think it is not good for us for others to observe, no? So, be careful with that. So, some days ago, I think these are some of the confusions. No? These are some of the remarks. No? So, viral pa. No? Okay, so, but if you look at the given, this is not a very complicated calculations. No? So, kabugo sa 16. No? The whole world is confused. No? And maybe some is saying, 1 siguro, pero murag 16. The answer is definitely 1. Okay? So, they have different answers. Took 3 calculus classes and it's 16, bro. I have 2 math degrees. It's 1, no? So, to avoid that one, no? So, try to recall the basic mathematical operations. And if you are using calculator, so, always try to define the operations. Okay? So, kanalay nakakuwang x, no? So, puro ko na yung mga naon-naon that if you have to go with somebody, you have to sit beside him or you sit beside her, no? So, do not immediately by sitting beside her, you can multiply each other, no? So, you have to define first what you really want to sit beside her, no? So, dili ka mo diritsog tupad, kaya diritsog kag tupad, yung una ka multiply na ka, so, that woman might be thinking tulisan ka. So, dili siguro na. So, doon na yung mga misunderstanding. No? So, kung ano gusto nimo, so try to define it well. Okay? So, ingon na sa ang calculator para masabtan ka. And by just introducing that, so you will arrive at the answer which is 16. So, I think what we did, even though how simple would this be, no? So, I am thinking this may be able to enlighten many of us. No? So, thank you for watching and until the next video. So, if you are new to our channel, so try to subscribe and I would be glad if you will also invite others to subscribe. So, thank you and goodbye. Till next video, see you. Okay, bye-bye.